Hello Coombe, welcome to this presentation on GCSE Sociology. This is a brand new course that we are looking to run from September 2025. So really exciting, something new and something a bit different. Just to remind you that GCSE Sociology is an option subject. It's not a compulsory subject. You don't have to choose between it and anything else. If you choose GCSE Sociology, it should be because you're super interested and you would really like to do it. So there are two teachers of GCSE Sociology. So me, Mrs. Carew-Rendell, I'm the head of history. I also teach criminology and sociology. And Mrs. Skelly, who's our head of social sciences, and she teaches all of the social sciences currently at A-level. So what is sociology? Well, it's the study of the society in which we live. It looks at how we are influenced and how we are shaped through being members and groups of different organisations. It concentrates on the way we make society what it is, but also the way society makes us what we are and how we reflect each other. For a little bit more information, have a little watch of this clip. To be a sociologist? Well, sociologists critically analyse and use scientific inquiry to find out all different elements of society. So we look at what good research is and how that's carried out. We look at current research and theories and we debate the problems of those theories but also the benefits of them, and we try and apply that to the real world. So we use our knowledge of theory and research to try and explain the world around us and how this contributes to the real world in terms of theory in practice. We look at sociological knowledge and we link our learning to previous knowledge, knowing theories and studies to draw and make comparisons to be able to put all of these things together. And very importantly, we look at research methods. We look at the research process. We look at different sociological contexts and how this can be applied and what methods are favoured by different theorists in sociology. So you're probably thinking, because this is a new topic, what can this actually lead to in terms of a career? Sociology is the study of society, it's the study of people. So if you're going to work with people, sociology is a great GCSE to have. It will lead to anything really that involves working with people. Here is a selection of quite a few different things in terms of community development. You'll look at these and think, well, yes, you have to work with people for all of them. Education, youth work, community work, housing work. But also thinking widely outside of that, it could be things to do with like human resources, journalism, public relations, policing, social work, working as a special educational needs coordinator, like a SENCO, like we have in school. So it leads to a huge range of careers where you have to work with people and understand people. So before we look into the different topics that you will study if you take GCSE Sociology with us, I know a lot of you will be thinking about assessment. It's very important that you understand that there is no coursework in GCSE Sociology. Like a lot of our GCSEs, there is no coursework. You take 2 exams in the end of year 11. Both of those exams are worth 50% of your overall GCSE grade. So you have 2 exams at 50% each, and they're both an hour and 45 minutes long. The exam does have a mixture of questions for you to answer. There's some multiple choice, there's some short answers, there are also extended essays. So let's really think about what you're going to study then. So if you're still with me, you're still interested and you're thinking, well, what do I actually do if I take this option? Well, your first paper is all about understanding social processes, so looking at how people work and how society works. So we'll look at things like key concepts, process of cultural transmission. We'll look at the family and the role of the family and what that means for society. We look at the role of education, how it works, why we teach the way that we teach, and how that impacts young people. And we're also going to look at research methods of how research is conducted. And paper 2 is all to do with understanding social structures. So that means that we're going to look at social differentiation and stratification, crime and deviance, and applied methods of sociological theory. You might be thinking, gosh, what on earth does all of that mean? Well, I'll go through each element of that now with you so that you can properly understand exactly what it is that we study. So the sociological approach is all to do with different theories and debates within sociology. And that's really the way that different theorists look at the world and society in different ways. So we'll look at things like conflict versus consensus. So like, how does war and people going along with something work together? We'll look at work of sociologists like Durkheim and Marx. And this will help us to build an understanding of how sociological knowledge and ideas can change over time. We look at particular areas like family and education and how people's ideas and understandings of these things change as we go through time. So key elements of study for this is to do with building a society, how people socialise, what's normal, how do values and morals change, how does someone's role in society work? What happens if we label someone? Do they become a self-fulfilling prophecy? Do we cause discrimination or encourage against it? What does it mean to be powerful and have authority? We also look at families and the changing nature of families and the role that families have in society today. So how can families be positive? How can they be negative? How are they used as a way of change? We look at different perspectives like Parsons, Marx. We also look at a feminist perspective on the role of the family. We look at the construction of patriarchal societies, for example, and how women are trying to smash through that glass ceiling to have more equality. We will look at explanations of how family forms differ in the UK and within a global context. For example, we'll look at a traditional, in inverted commas, nuclear family. We look at how families have changed over time to like extended families, lone parent or single sex families. How all of this makeup of our society is continuing to change. And what does that mean? This looks into the understanding of conjugal role relationships. Now that means how there's a division of labour within families. Traditionally, the man would go out to work and bring home the money, and women would be a housewife and bringing up the children. And we know that that has hugely changed now. Why has that changed? Is that division of labour still equal? Or is a working woman still having to do more at home as well as at work? We look at the impact that that has on the family and on the children as well. Now, sociology is the study of society after all, and one of the biggest elements of our society is that a huge amount of our young people spend time in education. So we look at that as a whole topic. We look at different sociological views on the role of education. What is the function of it? What is the purpose of school? Does it serve the needs of the economy? Does it facilitate social mobility, meaning allowing people to get different jobs and move higher up in the hierarchy? We look at social cohesion as well. How does education bring people together? Or indeed, does it? We also look at the success and achievement of education. We look at how people achieve in schools, and we look at different things that can affect educational achievement, like social class, gender, and ethnicity. We also look at interactionist approach, which is another sociological theory, and we apply that to educational processes within schools. So we look at the impact of things that happen in schools on students, like setting, streaming, labelling someone as clever or not, as bright or not, labelling someone which could possibly result in a self-fulfilling prophecy, and how do we break through that to encourage resilience? Super interesting section of this topic. We also look at crime and deviance in sociology because, again, sociology is the study of people and society. So we do have to also have an element of how laws are made, how are they broken, and how does society deal with that. So we look at the concept of crime and how crime is explained. And we look at things like labelling again and social theories. We look at different theories to do with what causes someone to commit a crime, and then what happens to somebody if they have committed a crime, spent their time in prison, and then been released. Does society treat them differently? Or do they have equality? If so, why? You'll be able to use your own experience to discuss formal and informal methods of social control and unwritten rules and sanctions. These are things that we have and we experience all the time in society. And we'll also look at factors affecting criminal and deviant behaviour, like social class, gender, ethnicity, and age. We'll have debates where we talk about how the crime statistics replicate certain elements of society and how that is. How do we change that, and how does that affect different areas of the country to this day? We also look at something called social stratification, which is about developing your sociological knowledge. And we look at the different views of the functionalist theory of stratification. And we look at Karl Marx's understanding of socio-economic class as well. So we look at some really complex elements here. And the whole purpose of this is to kind of explore things that affect someone's life chance. How do things like social class, gender, race, ethnicity, sexuality, age, disability, and religion affect your chances in life for progress, for prosperity? This topic is also going to look at different viewpoints of poverty and different forms of power and authority. Who has power? Who doesn't? Why? Who's rich? Who isn't? Why? We try and answer some of those really big questions to look at the impact on people. When we've looked at all of these things, we then couple that with research methods. It's vital in sociology that students have knowledge and understanding on how sociologists conduct research and draw conclusions. Sociology is the study of people. We have to research that by studying people. That means that we have to conduct research. This includes exploring different research designs. So we'll look at pilot studies, selection of appropriate sampling methods, or we'll look at analysis of data. We'll look at the value and the application, strengths and weaknesses of different methods, and the usefulness of mixed methods approaches. Like, is a questionnaire better than interviewing someone? How can you get something different from someone in terms of opinion by using different methods of research? You'll also be experimenting and conducting some research of your own. So if you're thinking, yeah, this sounds like me, I'm really interested in people and how they work, and I'm interested in the building blocks of society and why we have the things that we do in society, then you're probably going to be thinking, how do I get onto this course? Well, there's not really any entry requirements to get onto GCSE Sociology. the biggest thing is that you need to be interested in it. You need to be interested in people and the way society functions. Your mind needs to be inquiring. You need to be inquisitive. You need to want to ask questions. You need to want to find out answers rather than just sitting and being a vacuum that we fill up with knowledge. You want to go out and find that knowledge for yourself. That's what we mean by having an inquiring mind and a positive work ethic. You need to be interested. You also need to be able to write essays. There's independent research skills and time management required with this as well. So you do write essays in the exam. We do conduct research, as I mentioned previously. So you're going to need to be able to have good time management skills to be able to do that. We do conduct research as sociologists. We're studying people in society. So you must be willing to be able to work independently. You need to be willing to conduct research in your own time outside of the classroom. That means independent learning time is really crucial because you're going to be utilising that research in your lessons. So you've got to be organised. So if you've got any other questions, come and see me. This is an option subject, so it's in the open bucket. It's not compulsory. It's something that you can choose to do if you want to do it. If you don't want to do it, you absolutely don't have to. But if you are interested, do come and find me, come and chat about it, and I'll give you any more information that you're looking for. It's a really interesting course. If you like people and you're interested in society and equality, this is going to be the one for you. Thanks very much, everybody. Bye.